Okej, sprawdźmy, co się dzieje ze Starfieldem. Zobaczymy. Szczerze mówiąc, no wiecie, gra nie przyjęła się
and
jakoś
39 days
rewelacyjnie.
ago, not including early access, and it's been a tumultuous 4+ months since blastoff. Welcome back to the channel, it's Lieutenant Buzz Lightyear, and wherever you look, you've got some wild and varied messaging coming in from all angles concerning Bethesda's space saga. Now, I've got a bunch of
Czy Starfield jest udany? Kurde. Napiszcie w komentarzach, co myślicie, bo szczerze
different
mówiąc,
articles and
mam
facts to
takie
give you
mieszane
today.
uczucia co do
And
tej
just
gry.
being upfront with everyone, I think you know where I stand on Starfield, but that doesn't mean I don't present the other side of the equation, and we've got some of that today as well. Remember to hit subscribe and ring the notifications bell to receive my latest upload alerts. Likes, comments,
Dobra,
shares are of
dawaj,
course
same
greatly appreciated.
soczyste
Chapters
rzeczy.
are up and in place to make it easier to skip around. And let's dive into the latest from Starfield.
Okej, nowe rzeczy od Starfielda.
In fact, it's a badass epic adventure of a video game that long-term staying power is due in large part to the passion the modding community has shown for the land of the Dragonborn. Now, the official creation kit has not yet been released for Starfield, which I was hoping would have been a shadow drop inclusion with Bethesda's latest patch. Sadly, it wasn't. But this Reddit post goes on to show the top 12 most modded games on Nexus Mods, and surprisingly, despite no official tools yet being available, you've got Starfield in 11th place just
No właśnie, to on tu wspomniał o tym, że gierki od Bethesdy, tam niektóre dostają drugie życie i popularność dzięki temu modowaniu i tutaj mimo, że nie mamy wystawionych dobrych narzędzi jeszcze, to i tak jest Starfield dalej w top 12, można top 10, nie? Także nie jest źle. Nie jest źle, tylko pytanie, czy no, o wiele lepiej by wpłynęło na... O Jezu, co tu się podziało? O wiele lepiej by wpłynęło na popularność tej gry właśnie to, że udostępnili o wiele lepsze narzędzia do tworzenia, to nie ukrywam.
Now, to be clear, this is
Ja
the
kibicuję, żeby Bethesdzie wyszło, nie?
amount of mods that are currently available on platform and not sheer volume of downloads, where Skyrim Special Edition and Skyrim just vanilla easily hold the 1 and 2 spot, eclipsing 5.6 billion, yes, you heard correct, billion with a B, downloads between the two. And it's going to be interesting to see how games like Starfield are able to progress once those official creation tools are
No patrzcie, Skyrim 2 biliony, a tutaj to są 2 miliardy, tak? A tu jest 34 miliony.
Speaking of modders, Games Radar ran with this headline in a recent article. Bethesda responds to complaints that modders are fixing Starfield faster than the actual dev.
To jest najlepsze, słuchajcie, że ludzie szybciej naprawiają w cudzysłowie grę niż twórcy. No ale nie ma się co dziwić, nie? Bo szczerze myślę, że to jest też droga, nie? Zrzucić wszystko na widzów, na graczy, żeby naprawiali sobie i tak dalej. Mam nadzieję, że ktoś pomyśli jeszcze bardziej. Powinien im udostępnić te narzędzia jeszcze, nie?
Without reading a single word of this article, I share that sentiment, even as someone that has and continues to like this game. Now, official Bethesda fixes and improvements are released in a drip feed pattern, which was then addressed with a statement Robert
Swoją drogą, ciekawe, wiecie co by było, jeżeli by na przykład wykorzystać te wszystkie mody i tak dalej i poprawki przez graczy i wrzucać od razu do, wiecie, oryginalnej gry i dobra. I to by było najlepsze, nie?
Quote, official fixes and content additions have to go through lengthy certification and localization processes.
No to jest prawda, nie? Że no to pewnie to jest też głównym powodem tego, nie? Że musi być przecież to w jakiś sposób pod kontrolą,
Especially
nie?
for consoles, which is why the beta is only available for Steam users. Bethesda has also hinted as to more major changes to the game incoming soon, like new ways to travel, which set off another round of discussions as to what it could be and why it wasn't included at launch. In previous videos, I laid out my thoughts on all of this, asking for a rover, possibly to use Vasco, or even a full-blown mech. Please, Bethesda, make that happen. Still, players are wanting huge additions to exploration, difficulty settings, and lots more. What can Bethesda deliver in their next planned 6-week cycle to improve Starfield? I hope to find out soon. Digging into that new ways to travel teaser dropped by Bethesda, and this Reddit post definitely asked the right question. Why would they ever decide to get rid of a rover in a space game? Now, under the header of "This is official concept art," Reddit user Shoddy Expert 8108 ran into what looks like a sweet-looking six-wheeled rover concept.
No łazik, no to słuchajcie, z tym się kojarzy jakby podróżowanie po planetach. Łazik i jazda, nie? I
Looks to be
heja, Belinda.
planetside, moving across the ice with space-suited explorers just in front, along with a full bevy of spotlights. Now, I don't want to speculate as to their answer to this question, but if this rover concept, or again, something like a system to link up with Vasco, or even just something more elaborate than some sort of jetpack enhancement could be added into the game,
No, albo
this could do
jetpack,
wonders
no.
for player speed once planetside and could help ease, and to be clear, I didn't just say solve, but to help ease player frustrations with moving between points of interest.
No to jest niestety symulator biegania, nie? Podróżowania. Tu jakby muszą coś zrobić, żeby jakby ułatwić to, przyspieszyć tą
While
rozgrywkę.
exploring. Obviously, we also need help with loading screens, procedurally generated
ładowanie
POIs
ekranów.
versus handcrafted, more POIs located closer together, etc., but yeah, that rover concept would have been a welcome sight come at launch. Who has 3 cents they can spare? That's right, according to Windows Central, Walmart will reportedly throw out physical copies of Starfield if no one buys the discs for 3 cents. Now, I
Mam straszne.
can't confirm any of this, as when I check over at the
Co
Walmart site,
niemożliwe, że
the
tak
game
jest.
shows discounted, but not at 3 cents a copy.
3
And
centy,
Windows
no.
Central states Walmart will reportedly stop selling physical copies of Starfield within the next few weeks, leading up to the February 5th
I czy to nie jest, słuchajcie, jakby nawiązanie do tego, co powiedział ten jeden z ważnych osób o Ubisoftie, o tych digitalizacji?
2024 cutoff date, the retailer will discount physical copies of Starfield to an astonishing 3 cents. This information was leaked by several sources, according to an internal memo, so be on the lookout as to the veracity of this one, but if I can nab
Właśnie.
one of those Constellation editions for a few bucks, I wouldn't be opposed to picking it up. One interesting byline I've been following with Starfield are these extreme swings in support and anger towards the title. Honestly, I think you've got 3 camps involved with this one.
No,
On one side,
3 obozy. Myślałem, że ci, co hejtują, no w sumie, ci, co uwielbiają, ci, co hejtują i ci, co są tak, umiarkowani.
you've got the aggressors. It doesn't matter how they've
Agresywni,
arrived
no.
here, but Starfield did not deliver for them, and these
A, mamy takie grupy w polskim community też,
players are
co się
pissed,
dzielą na te
usually
3
taking to social
podgrupy.
media or the review sections and slamming Starfield. On the other extreme, you got the players that love it. They could be fans of Bethesda titles of the past, or maybe just this game, but they defend it with tenacity. Both of these groups are vocal, and both of these groups
No,
are in the minority.
zgadzam się, są głośne te grupy.
Because the third group, which at least in my research is not
Bo myślę, że dlatego, że jakby najwięcej emocji to wyzwala, nie? I dlatego te grupy są tak głośne.
engaged with social media, is the majority of Starfield gamers. These men and women just play the damn game at their own pace, doing whatever the hell they want to do. And when it comes to the noise, they've got all of that on mute.
Ja chyba należę do tej grupy, tej
Thoughts
umiarkowanej.
and research I've done on this topic are further backed up by the most played games list for Microsoft, which still shows Starfield sitting in the top 25, or an area that I pay really close attention to, Steam numbers and Steam charts. Now, according to Steam's own press release, Starfield managed to place in every significant category for 2023. Top sellers, 2023 by
No widzicie, mimo wszystko tych wszystkich wad Starfielda, on dalej się utrzymuje jakby. Czy był w tym 23 roku bez
gross revenue. Starfield hits platinum level, which, by the way, is Steam's highest achievement level.
Oh, platinum,
New releases by gross revenue, platinum for Starfield. Most played, platinum. Steam Deck, platinum. Actually kind of surprised on that one. And then even more surprising, daily active controller players, Starfield again hits platinum. So clearly there is, or at least was, some sort of monumental force behind Starfield's launch. VG Charts posted a further breakdown of Steam 2023's top games list, which was super interesting. What a surprise! In first place, Baldur's Gate 3, crushing it for gross revenue, $657 million in sales. In second place, Hogwarts, which saw its fair share of release drama, $341 million.
No, 341 milionów, mimo to, że on tak był kancelowany, nie? Harry Potter.
In sales. And
no i macie, patrzcie,
your eyes
Starfield.
are not deceiving you. There's Starfield in
I
the
teraz
three...
pytanie, słuchajcie, czy to świadczy dobrze o graczach, czy źle, nie? Że mimo tych wszystkich wad kupują i tak Starfielda. Słuchajcie, no bo większość graczy jest takich, że po prostu grają w gry i tyle, nie? Ja się w sumie do takich zaliczam.
But $235 million in sales, and then you've got the rest of the top 10, of which check out Fires of Rubicon at 6th, another game that
Rubicon
brought in the players and sold a bunch of games. And then how about Lethal Company and 9th? But back to Starfield, and this says to me, there's a player base still playing and enjoying the game, just not tuning into Twitter and not checking out comment sections for opinions. And how about this for another well-timed transition? Because VG Charts also just released their most disappointing games of 2023 rankings. And 2023 was both a banner year for incredible new game releases, and one of those years that as a gamer you just shake your head in disbelief, because we saw a collection of terrible games hit the market as well, some of which were so bad they caused the developing studio to close down as well. Anyway,
jak myślicie, jakie to tytuły, które tu wspomina, o jakich tytułach?
Anyways, here's the list as they see it. Redfall, which I completely agree with. I tried it out at launch and refunded out after about 45 agonizing and boring minutes of gameplay. Forspoken, again, I'm on board with this one. I reviewed it, got in about an hour before refunding. This hit the news a while ago, but Luminous Productions, the outfit behind Forspoken, was merged back into Square Enix after this disastrous launch. They've included Starfield on their list of nominations, of course. Then you've got The Lord of the Rings Gollum. Incredibly terrible game, causing Datalic Entertainment to close its doors. Call of Duty.
O kurde, nie wiedziałem, że to studio się zamknęło od razu po tym.
Modern Warfare 3, I'm assuming for the single-player campaign, although they don't specify here. And one title I don't see here is Skull Island Rise of Kong, which should be on every video game list of 2023 for worst, most disappointing, like everything bad, because this game earned it and to be expected for a game in only 1 year of development. VG Charts runner-up was Gollum, and if you guessed Starfield as their winner for most disappointing title of 2023...
No duże oczekiwania były w stosunku do Starfielda, nie ma się co dziwić, tak? I może dlatego też jest na liście tym
here's their
zawodów.
Full explanation for this. There's a certain irony in Bethesda releasing one of its least buggy games and an ambitious and highly anticipated new IP at that, and it nonetheless proving a disappointment to many. Much like Cyberpunk 2077 winning this same award back in 2020, hopefully that bodes well for Starfield. Starfield isn't a bad game, and it's certainly nowhere near the worst game of the year, but the gulf between expectations and reality was so wide
no
that
to właśnie, jeżeli macie rozbudowane oczekiwania, potem się zawodzicie, no i to jest nieprzyjemna jakby emocja i ludzie przez to jakby potem oceniają wszystko, nie?
Another parallel would be a game that it's often closely compared to No Man's Sky.
No.
It was eviscerated.
No przy pierwszym, jak premiera No Man's Sky, to też było tak średnio, ale potem ta gra została mega dopracowana.
A lot of hard work and frequent updates from Hello Games have salvaged its reputation. These three titles are cautionary tales of how hype built up by developer promises, when mixed in with fan
No właśnie, gracze nie powinni się ciągle nahypować, bo potem się mogą zawieść, nie?
Expectation that goes unchecked almost inevitably results in disappointment. And yet, those two other examples do show that there's a path for redemption for Starfield, if Bethesda is willing to commit to constantly improving it. I'm right there with
No pytanie, czy rzeczywiście tak... czy będzie chciała Bethesda to
VG
jakby
charts when they start to discuss things like
dokończyć, nie, swoje
being
dzieło.
cautious. And I do like the fact that they've referenced both 2077 and No Man's Sky, because I think a lot of viewers have forgotten both of those games had a lot of promises leading up to launch and were both pretty disastrous when they first hit the market. It just stings to see Starfield make their top pick, but I can be honest with myself, and in some areas of their argument, yes, I can see the truth in it. Maybe it has something to do with separating worst game of 2023 from most disappointing game.
No właśnie. Słuchajcie, no zobaczymy. Liczę na to, że jeszcze ta Starfield wyjdzie na prostą, znaczy zostanie bardziej ulepszony. Zależy tylko, ile twórcy będą chcieli w to się angażować, nie? Ale życzę jak najlepiej oczywiście.